Peace friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Pisces June 2025 astrology horoscope forecast. I'm calling the theme of this month, and this theme will echo for at least a year beyond. 1 year, Jupiter's mega luck and expansion in these areas of life. So I'm going to go into the specifics of what Jupiter is doing and why this is a big deal. We're going to talk about the sign that Jupiter is in, and we're going to talk about the house, which is specific for Pisces. We're going to talk about so much more as well, because of course there's never just one thing going on. My goal is to give you a good picture, not just of the themes that are coming up this month, but also to understand things that will be going on for well beyond now. This is for you if Pisces is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Pisces placement you're listening for. What I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. Late degree Pisces friends, so birthdays like March 15th through the rest of the sign, or Pisces degrees, 23 degrees through the rest of the sign. I suggest you additionally listen to my Aries report, as your very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. So the first area of experience that is not only going to be highlighted for the next year to come with mega fortune, mega luck, mega expansion, mega benevolence, mega everything, is the fourth house of home and family. And this is because Jupiter is moving into the sign of Cancer. Now, specifically for Pisces, you're getting 2 years of this focus on home and family and housing and real estate and your inner world and your inner security and your roots and your ancestry. Because when Jupiter was transiting through Gemini, which was from May 2024 until June 2025, it was actually moving through your fourth house, which is ruled by Cancer. So a lot of the types of things that happened, the spirit of those things may go to the next level. If you had challenges happen, don't worry. It doesn't necessarily mean that those same types of challenges will happen now, because this transit is in a much better angle for Pisces. Before, when it was moving through the sign of Gemini, this was an air transit, which made a 90-degree angle for you, which accessed one of the cusps of your chart. These lines, these main axes of the chart, which always puts you into a transition. So, can be a lot more difficult. So there's a good chance that a lot of the changes that will come from this transit now can be softer and easier and smoother than the ones that you just experienced, because you're not dealing with this axis that it crossed over, which tends to, bring these crossroads. And Jupiter will now be in fellow water sign Cancer. Okay, making trines, the most fabulous angle in all of astrology to your Pisces placement. So, so there are some similarities, in the arena that they're going to affect. And then there are the differences because of the angle and the sign. So that's why you're going to get extra blessings from this transit because of the elemental synergy. Now in June, you not only have the energy of Jupiter moving into the sign of Cancer, which it will then grace your fifth house, which we'll talk about here pretty soon, but you also have the Sun and Mercury all going through Gemini and Hygeia. Early next month, Venus will get there, going through your fourth house of home and family. So this is, very, very busy time, moving, fixing up your house. If you've already been drawn to improve your house or improve your home circumstance or your family circumstance, you're going to have another year of opportunities to get things how you want them to be. But because of the Gemini energies now, this is going to be a little bit unsettling in the way that you're going to be so busy. And if you're trying to have your quiet time and be in your quiet, flow in your personal space, probably the universe is going to require you to be out interacting with people, to be out, just basically being mobile. Okay, so I'm going to get soon to Jupiter moving through the fifth house and how this is different and how this is special and how this is specific for Pisces. But first, while we're talking about these Gemini energies, I just want to give you some information about things you may see during this combo, of all of this transit. And then also tell you some great things to use this time for and things to watch out for and how to handle them so that you're really prepared, because this is a massive amount of energy. Okay. So podcast friends, I am putting the chart as the thumbnail. That doesn't always sync through on all. If you go to If you just search for Astro Kisses, Annie Botticelli, and you find the Buzzsprout site, you will find the chart there. I don't think it syncs over to Spotify. And for the YouTube friends, of course, I have the chart up. Okay, so what goes on when you see a ton of energy transiting in Gemini? Well, you're going to see increased social invitations and connections. People may reach out more. Networking opportunities are going to pop up. Conversations may flow really easily, or communication may be forced in ways that are required. Okay, so because of the square between Pisces and Gemini energy, there's a good chance you may have to have some conversations that you don't want to have. You may have finals for school. You may have writing projects that you have to do. You know, this is going to be a little bit of a tension, a little bit of a push, but you're very likely to get a lot of gems from this. Kind of like the situation if maybe someone invites you somewhere and you really don't want to go and you're not feeling social, but you go and it turns out amazing. So, you know, there's a lot of that potential. This energy is also very creative, and it has to do with especially words. So writing and speaking and music, poetry, marketing ideas, you know, things that where words carry a lot of weight. You may find yourself especially being pushed into situations of using your words. You also may notice this desire to multitask or take on new projects or get your fingers in a lot of pudding pies. That's why I always talk about Gemini. It's an upward spiral with its energetic. And so you will find yourself, I'm over here, I'm interested in this. Oh, I'm over here, I'm over here. It's very diverse. And it's, you know, it's sort of a situation where your mind races with ideas and a need for stimulation. And it can really spark exciting starts. And speaking of which, June, one of the most important things to know about June is that it is one of the few months in the year where all the personal planets are moving direct. There's no shadow period for retrogrades. And actually, almost all of the planets, all of them except Pluto, are also moving direct. Okay, Pluto will shift, but that's okay. Pluto is retrograde a lot of the time anyway. So basically, this time period that you've been waiting for, if you've been listening to my work and I've been telling you that you're having the retrogrades, you have to be on the shore, you have to wait and see what the tides bring in, because the retrogrades, you know, since September, we're really bringing the tides in. But now, in the second half of May and all of June, this is your big time to push things out, because the tides are going out. And when you push things out on astrological tides going out, they can go further and wider for longer. Okay, so this is an amazing launch month. This is an amazing time to get things going, to make decisions about things. And this Gemini energy is going to be helpful because it's highly energetic. You know, it'll make you want to move and make you want to interact. Even for the, you know, the most private Pisces among you, you may find this urge to kind of step out. So this time is really, really great for, you know, all of June for revamping or starting communication-based projects, podcasts, blogs, newsletters, you know, any kind of social media. These things thrive under this mental energy. And because this does cross over, you know, this angle, as I spoke about, this could be a birth. I always see this angle of tension as a birth. If you've ever birthed a baby, then you know that it is not very easy for the most part, with a few exceptions that I've heard of. It's very difficult to birth something new. And this 90-degree angle can show that you're birthing something new at this time. You know, this is a time that you can freshen up your brand or your home, your aesthetics. Of course, home and family are going to be really, really coming into play here. This is an energetic where there's, you know, a cleverness to it, you know, a lightness to it, a newness to it. So you may have new things come in and they could be very exciting. Since this energy also rules teaching and learning, you may find that your perfect education program comes in for you. Short courses, reading, dabbling in new subjects, you know, something, these things can spark a long-term inspiration, but they can also make you take action on something that you have been wanting to do for a long time. And the energy is amazing for starting something new. And if you want to teach, this energy is also the energy of teacher. So if you've been wanting to compile the things that you know into offerings, this is a great way to use this energy this month. Something else to know about this month is that we have a lot of aspects. We are out of eclipse season, so the eclipse lessons and new changes are now working their way into our new normal. and we're moving on with our lives from the drama and possibly the stress, or even the good news and just the stress that comes from something new coming in that you wanted, just being different. March and April and into May were very full with eclipse endings and beginnings and new trajectories. And now in June, those things are working their way back into the unconscious space, just kind of like moving forward now. But the sky is very busy. We have many, many, almost 30 actual aspects where the planets are getting together in meaningful mathematical configurations. It hasn't been as busy in recent months, even though the eclipses were taking center stage. The transits or the aspects were not as many as they are now. So we've got about 13 amazing aspects. We've got about 16 ones that are a nuisance. A couple of them are long-term ones. I'm not going to go into all of that now because obviously that's a lot. But if you go to anniehelpsyou.com and you put your name and email address in there to sign up for my free VIP community, and then in the welcome letter, you click on the archive and you put June 2025 astrology, you'll get my sweet and salty list of all the dates of the aspects, my favorite ones, the ones to look out for, and then a write-up about the top ones. But what we need to know for now is that the skies are busy. So you'll be having little joy bubbles from the nice aspects and little road bumps from the ones that are annoying. And that's all happening all at the same time. Some other things to watch out for when we have an excess of Gemini energy is scattered energy. As I said, this moves in this upward spiral, so it's kind of all over the place. There may be decision overwhelm, and this is a time to make some decisions. So one way you can manage this is by prioritizing your top 3 tasks and setting time blocks to focus. Gemini wants to do everything all at once, but the structure can help it shine. This is definitely something that I learned from Timothy Ferriss's book, The 4-Hour Workweek, that if you take those things that are the top things where they'll make the most impact and you do those first, then if you get distracted with the Gemini energy and don't get anything else done, then at least you're making progress. Something else to be aware of with all this Gemini energy is that it can be, highly communicative. So you may have to guard your energy from people over talking to you, or you may find that you are talking more, and it might be draining you, basically. So you just, want to practice mindful communication and, just be aware that this can drain you. This is an energetic that isn't in natural sync for you. So if you know this going into it, you can look for the pitfalls of the time and, and protect yourself. This energy is also very famous for overthinking or anxiety from information overload. So unplugging for a little bit each day, or meditation or nature walks or journaling, Pisces related types of things, quiet personal pursuits to counterbalance this, just very vibrant, buzzing energy. After spending a really long time in or near Leo, Mars is going to be leaving your 6th house where it has been focused for a long time. And hopefully you are leaving this time since September of this very strong focus, in this arena of life, better, that your health is better, that you've taken action. And if not, you still have some more time to do that this month to use the energy, get your stress relief routines and your daily routines and your organization in a better state. Use this month to, since it's such a forward moving energy, to do an overhaul on the flow of your home and your office and your day. And, because Mars is very powerful, and it's going to move into the sign of Virgo, which also rules health and the same things that you have been having it go through. But this is going to feature in the house of partnerships and relationships. So you're going to notice for the upcoming months, multiple months, that you're going to get really focused on relationships, on key people in your life, on finding the help you need, on helping others in ways that are better for you. And Mars is going to tell that story. Okay, so let's talk about some ways that you may experience Jupiter moving through the 5th house. So this is going to be for this month and also for this whole year until the end of June 2026. You may see a mega amplified creative flow. Your imagination is going to be blossoming, and this is a stellar year for writing, painting, music, any form of personal artistic expression. Basically, the things I always like to describe the 5th house as like the sunflower. If you know how they it doesn't exactly look like a sunflower, but okay, you know what I'm getting at here. So the sunflower stretches its body, its stalk, and its leaves up to the sun. And it's hard to feel down when you look at a field of sunflowers, right? And that energetic of stretching up and just being lit up is how I see the fifth house. And of course, the fifth house is ruled by Leo, which is ruled by the sun. So there is an association here. So the things that make you feel like you're all stretched up and excited, towards the sun, just getting the sun's glow and, really in your highest form. Those are going to be the things that Jupiter is giving you extra mega expansion and lock in over the next whole year. Romantic renewal, true love, your true love may come in. Romance could be more fulfilling, passionate, heart-centered. New connections could come in, or you could be joyfully deepening your existing romantic scene. Pregnancy, birth, parenting joys. If you're trying to have a baby, this is an amazing transit for that. This month is super highlighted, and this year is super highlighted. More fun, more play. Life is inviting you to take more happiness as a norm. It wants you to say yes to joy and unapologetically, basically, following your bliss. So 5 things I'd say that you can do during this transit. That would be a really good checklist. Say yes to creative projects. Start the novel. Show your art. Launch a passion-based business. Or try something just for fun, or just commit to a percentage of your life just being focused on fun. You can let your inner child lead more. So silliness and whimsy and dance, daydreaming and play, all of it is medicine for your soul. Always, but this year can anchor it in into a new experience. This also may be a time to take healthy romantic risks. Being open to being vulnerable, and Jupiter can help, but you also have to show up. Something else great to do at this time is to spend time with children or teach what you love, parenting or mentoring or doing something with young people can help, you to remember that place in your being. And another way is to celebrate yourself publicly. Really promote your work, take center stage. Leo energy is all about that, and that's where Jupiter is highlighted for you at this time. Some things that's really important to remember now and for the next year is that joy can actually be productive, and you are allowed to shine, and not every risk will feel safe. And you have to tune in to be discerning to see which one you're supposed to take, but this is definitely a time to feel into that. Jupiter can also overdo. So just keep the balance, which is going to be a little bit difficult because of this extra Gemini energy as well. I'm going to finish off with a couple of dates here. And if you like the dates, make sure you go to anniehelpsyou.com, sign up for my VIP newsletter, get the archive link, and then search for June 2025 astrology in the search bar, because then you'll get all of the dates that I think are most important for June, but I'll give you a few. So June 9th is the day that Jupiter officially goes into Cancer. Although I do see people have the themes start to roll in for Jupiter in the new sign and Jupiter in the new house, even 3 months before. So you've already been working with these energies. And again, you've been working with Jupiter in Cancer because it was going through your 4th house and now it's going through the sign. But you may have noticed a change in the quality of the experience in the last few months. June 11th, we've got the full moon at 20 degrees of Sagittarius. It may send you packing. This could be a great time for launching something Sagittarian-based, education, teaching, international business, learning a language, international travel. And June 25th, that's at 20 degrees of Sag. And then June 25th, we've got the new moon in Cancer at 4 degrees. An extra blessing of new home, family, housing might come through at that time. And all Pisces friends can get the goodies from that, as it's a fellow water sign moon. But those of you who are in the February born Pisces group, you all may get even more of a kiss from this. Okay, so if you would like to learn astrology, go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com, and see my very comprehensive astrology certification course. And if you want personalized reports from me, go to anniebclarity.com. Annie, the letter B, clarity.com. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.